All right, one of the big conversations we had last week features on the front pages today, even more prominently because it's on the front page of the Standard. Recipe for rigging, that's the headline there on the front page of the Standard. They talk about what's happening with the IEBC and a bill before Senate now. Trust on trial, they say, a fresh bid to scrap the IEBC's duty to live stream polling station results has triggered alarm ahead of the 2027 general election. The bill, sponsored by Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheriot and Minority Leader Stuart Madzayo, is before the Senate's Justice and Legal Affairs Committee and seeks to remove one of the key transparency safeguards introduced after past disputed polls. You know, just getting to know who exactly sponsored the bill says a lot, because now you see this is a combination of the Majority Leader in the Senate and the Minority Leader in the Senate. The Majority Leader is from UDA, the Minority Leader is from ODM. So this is a broad-based push for amendment of the election bill to remove live streaming. Critics say the move would make it harder for the public and the media to independently verify results, fueling fears of electoral manipulation. With the election less than a year away, it's about a year now. Its timing has intensified suspicion that the changes could benefit President William Ruto if the integrity of the electoral process is compromised. Last week, I think all the people on my panel, including some who support this administration, said, no, I don't think that is a nice move. But by then, we didn't know who had sponsored the bill. Now it's clear. It's sponsored by the Minority and Majority Leader in the Senate. So this is a story on page 4. A controversial proposal to scrap the mandatory live streaming of election results from polling stations. It has now thrust the Elections Amendment Bill of 2024 back into the spotlight, setting the stage for a fresh battle over the transparency of the 2027 general election. And you see, every time we come close to a general election, that's when we get this urge to actually amend the Elections Act, remove this, add this, change a few issues here and there. And one wonders why. We've had so much time. If at all this required debate, and why the necessity to remove such a thing? Why remove the live streaming of results? That means you would render whatever people do at Bomas useless. Because Bomas is the one place where all the results are transmitted to, then collated. Like each polling station sends, remember, all results are final at the polling stations. So what they do is just send it to the National Tallying Center. And that is usually transmitted live by the IEBC. Now,
then we pick it.
Then we pick it even as media, because if we try to do it ourselves, then the numbers start getting convoluted, you start getting confusion, then the whole country gets into a mess. So why would you want to remove that provision now?
You know, they're saying that this is a product of the NADCO report.
Removing a live transmission of results?
Yes.
Well, interesting. I do not know why. There are those who argue that even the whole Bomas of Kenya fiasco, we do not need it. That after all, the results are final at the polling station. Why do we need a National Tallying Center? No, Naji, what do you think? Do you think the live streaming of results from polling station is actually crucial?
Because I was just trying to look what the Election Laws Amendment Bill is talking about. And just more into that, it's ending live tally broadcasts, judicial access to servers, MP recall process. That is the legislation attempts to cure previous constitutional loopholes by establishing a fairer, highly accessible legal pathway for voters to recall non-performing members of parliament.
That's just one of the amendments there. But I think the big one is this one for scrapping the live streaming of results. Crucially though, that one for recalling MPs should also be a big discussion because up till now, it has not been possible. It has not been possible at all to recall a member of parliament once they get into the house, despite the provision being there in our constitution. So that's a big story, and we'll be looking at that with my panelists later on. Other quick stories here, that meeting you mentioned, the Azimio Council to meet over formula to select candidate to run for president. But now one wonders, okay, there will be an Azimio candidate because a party like DCP is not part of the Azimio. A party like DAP-K, I doubt, is it part of Azimio? Probably. A party like, Linda Mwananchi will be looking at an attempt to make it a party. It's still not part of Linda Mwananchi. So why would Azimio now want to come up with a plan on how they'll pick a candidate. The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Council is expected to meet today to discuss, among other agendas, a formula for identifying a single presidential candidate for the opposition and whether to rebrand ahead of the elections. Yeah, so this, I do not know what DCP may want to say about Azimio. All right, so those are the two biggest political discussions today. Other quick highlights: only 6 out of 10 newborns get life-saving first-hour breast milk. Yeah, they say that once a baby has been born, within the first hour, yeah, he or she should be able to get breast milk.
You know, interestingly, it's International Breastfeeding Week. And Kenya, according to WHO, we are actually doing very, very well. We are 60%, which
not so
surpasses the WHO's Assembly's target of 50%. So we're doing quite well in terms of breastfeeding.
So we encourage mothers to breastfeed their children.
Yes. Yes, their children.
Vision 2060 also features here on page 6. Can Ruto build Kenya's future amid a trail of failed projects? That's the question. Many people are saying even Vision 2030, which we're only 4 years shy of getting to the limit, that a lot of that hasn't been achieved. Yeah, we were supposed to move to at least a middle-income country. That levels of poverty witnessed in various parts of this country should have been a thing of the past by this time. We're still there. We're still earning less than $1 a day. Yeah. And then now we want a new vision, 2060. So what happens to this one? How are we going to think big if the small things that disturb us daily?
The argument is also that President William Ruto was a player, or still is, in the implementation of Vision 2030. So if that isn't really realized, and then we're coming up with a new thing, since 2008 up until now, what has been done as regards Vision 2030?
All right. Yes. As you say, he has been, the president currently has held various positions in different governments for 2 decades. He's been a member of parliament since 1997. Yeah? Yeah. Almost 30 years now. All right. Anyway, away from the big news of the day, back in the back pages, matters Commonwealth. Kenya continues getting more medals. So far we have gold medalists. 3 gold, 4 silver, 5 bronze. Atukombaya. Kenya's medals in Scotland. We won 12 medals in the 2026 so far. 12 medals, not so bad. So we continue supporting our team in Scotland. That's the Standard. They call it the bold newspaper. All right, tuangalie gazeti la Taifa Leo. Sifuna kusajili Linda Mwananchi. That's the main headline on the front page of gazeti la Taifa Leo this morning. Senator wa Nairobi Edwin Sifuna ameanza mchakato wa kusajili Linda Mwananchi kwa chama cha kisiasa atakachotumia kuwania urais mnamo mwaka ujao. Viongozi wa mrengo wa Linda Mwananchi ambao ni mrengo wa waasi ndani ya ODM walisema wamepanga kukutana na afisi ya msajili wa vyama vya kisiasa, huyo ni ORPP, leo ili kuendeleza mchakato wa kusajiliwa kwa chama hicho. So a lot is happening today. Azimio meeting, and Linda Mwananchi will also be registering Linda Mwananchi as a party. Viongozi wa kundi hilo walisisitiza seneta huyo wa Nairobi ndiye mgombea wao wa urais, lakini Edwin Sifuna has not come out publicly to declare that he's running for presidency. Wakwe na chama kwanza.
Wakwe na chama kwanza. Walisema their union is collegial. We'll be looking out for that. Vidokezo zaidi, Raila Junior lenga ufuasi wa babake, azimia kunufaika kwa ushawishi wa babake Raila Odinga, huku akidaiwa kutaka kuwania kiti cha ubunge Embakasi Kusini. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili. Cheruiyot anasema ngo hutapata kura bondeni. Kiongozi wa wengi Seneti akaribisha Gachagua Rift Valley, ila amwambia umati mkubwa si kura, hakikisho la kura. Ruto aambia Kindiki asihofie ODM. Viongozi wa chama cha ODM wametishia kutoa kiti cha naibu rais mwaka 2027. Finally amezungumzia.
Nani? Kindiki?
Ruto.
Akasema
asihofie. Ndio hiyo ndio habari inazungumzia.
Uoga itasaidia.
Ruto aambie Kindiki asihofie ODM.
Whether utakuwa na uoga ama usiwe na uoga, ikifika wakati
hakuna bwana. On the top strip, upinzani wachumbia Jumwa wamtaka Bi Aisha awasaidie kumuoa Ruto kitini mwaka 2027. Na Starlets wana kibarua WAFCON, watapambana na Algeria, Morocco leo. Taifa Leo.
Toka Taifa Leo tuangazie gazeti la Daily Nation. Matters debt given a lot of prominence there, 3.5 billion shilling a day borrowing spree. President William Ruto's government borrowed 416.2 billion from foreign markets in 4 months this year, translating to 104 billion shillings every month. The loans taken out between January 1st and April 30th deepen a raging financial crisis, with public debt rising to 13 trillion shillings. Studios on pages 4 and 5. So in February this year, they took a loan of 29.15 billion from International Development Association to address regional disparities in learning outcomes, whatever that is. Then another one on 10th of the same month, 9.8 billion from AFD to promote equitable access to quality higher education, training and research. Then from International Sovereign Bonds, 290 billion funding earmarked for budgetary support. IDA again, another 3.9, kitty for climate resilience actions. In March again, funding for general budget support, 20 billion. IDA again, now IDA ni kama ndo wanatupatia pesa mingi. 45 billion funds to expand access to affordable housing finance. I thought tuna fund the affordable housing sisi wenyewe. Anyway, IBRD Bank, April 22nd, money to expand access to affordable housing finance. Again, another 16 billion. So total money to expand access to affordable housing finance is about 60 billion. Yeah. Explain to me. How? Anyway.
I wish I could. I wish I could. Yeah. Very interestingly, we're borrowing 144 million per hour. Per hour.
Hii tutalipa tu ujue hivyo. Tutalipa hii deni. Uspende. Utalipa hiyo deni. So this story, you can read more about it on pages 4 and 5. Usisikize tu watu wanakuambia. No, go read about it. Because the Daily Nation has done a very good job. They talk about the domestic debt. They even have a graph from 2013 to 2026. The debt levels then. They talk about total public debt stock. They talk about external debt. They talk about debt to GDP. So they've done a comprehensive breakdown of this debt. 7 new external loans are for housing, education, climate action and budget support. So did we anticipate that we would borrow more, especially for housing? Because many Kenyans complained, tunaumia because we're actually funding this housing program, affordable housing. Then now we're borrowing more for it. So, well, it's interesting. Explain to me like a very old man. Back to the front page. Enter Linda Mwananchi party plan. You've talked about it on the front page of Taifa Leo. It is here as well. The Linda Mwananchi could become a party. Unajua, even ndio ODM ilikuwa chama. Chungwa was a movement to oppose the constitution 2005. Alafu sasa ikakuwa hiyo referendum. Akasema, Raila Odinga akasema hata hiyo chungwa inaweza kuwa chama. And it became a chama. ODM, Orange Democratic Movement, became a party. All right. Doctors, killers used her stolen car to lay an ambush. That's another story that has been making headlines, especially on social media. A lady who was killed, and now they are tying it to marital strife, divorce, and a lot of things. You can read that story on page 8. The Music Festival, 98th edition of the Kenya National Music Festival is kicking off at Kibabii University in Bungoma. So wale wanapenda zinaitwa nini za muziki?
Yes, music festivals.
Ile kwa Kiswahili.
Usinikoroge akili.
Right. And following the events of 2nd August 1982, they're doing a quick look back at what happened in 1982 with a coup attempt. Secrets of 1982 coup attempt, how last-minute act saved army heroes. That story is on page 3. The quick highlights huko ndani ni siasa tu imejaa. Ruto, UDM pact here to stay. Gachagua pokes holes into Vision 2060. and Linda Mwananchi reserved as one of 3 names by Sifuna team. Itakuwa chama. Right. Another interesting story on page 8. Victory for parents as court outlaws blanket school fines. You know when there's upheaval in schools and then people damage property, then watu wanaambiwa go home, nyinyi wote. Mukirudi, the school has imposed a fine on everyone, including those who did not even take part. Mnaambiwa nyinyi wote, as you come back to school, you have to pay this much. So the court says, and it was about Ambira High School, which had levied 33,000 to every parent. Watoto wakiambiwa kila mtu kirudi shule 33,000. So amesema hiyo haifai. Back page, Commonwealth. Curtain falls on quadrennial championship with Kenya getting 12 medals in total. Not a bad performance. Na hii maswala ya starlets kule WAFCON. They're aiming to finish on a high against Algeria tonight. That's the Daily Nation.
All right. Tuangalie People Daily now. Gachagua's raid on Ruto's turf. The story is on page 4. They say that Gachagua's foray into Ruto's home turf ignites rift rivalry. New national face. Gachagua has a series of activities lined up in the coming days, including an anticipated tour of both South and North Rift regions in a spirited attempt to win converts. A section of politicians from the region say the former DP is free to make inroads in Rift Valley, with politicians allied to Ruto saying the former DP was free to tour the South Rift. Yes, so that is another the major story.
Wanamwambia hatapata kitu.
The People Daily, yes.
Tembea tu lakini hutapata kitu.
Wanajuaje? Anyway, so another story here on the front page. Defiant Kindiki fights back. Yes, that one is a story on page 8. Is he defiant?
Yeah, alisema he has fought bigger fights. Here itamtisha.
Sitishwe. Rigija alisema muachane na Kindiki, na DP, na Prof. Yes, that story is on page 8. They say that despite the speculation, Kindiki has maintained that he remains firmly committed to the Kenya Kwanza administration. He has rejected calls for him to step aside, maintaining that he will remain loyal to President William Ruto.
Na wamesema president amemsupport akasema kusikwe na uoga. Asiogope.
Sitishwe. That is the People Daily this morning.
All right, let's take a look at the Star. Fresh, independent, different. Talks about budget pain as fuel prices remain high on global tensions. Fresh disruptions on key shipping routes threaten inflation surge. And it has to do with what's happening in the Middle East, because we thought that America and Iran walikuwa wamekubaliana, lakini kama hawakubaliani. Hizo text, hizo SMS wanatumiana na WhatsApp ni kama kuna zile inaitwaje ile kuna clock. Unatuma message alafu after a while ina disappearing messages. So ni kama wasomi zote, unaamka asubuhi unapata message ilikuja na ikadisappear. Because I don't know why till now they're still squabbling. Yeah. So how deepening global supply shocks worsen Kenya's cost of living is the analysis on the pages 4 and 5 spread of this paper. They're talking even about matatu fares, electricity, food, agriculture, businesses, how global actions are affecting you directly. So we do anticipate that even during this month's fuel price review by EPRA, last month hawaku reduce na hawakuongeza.
Ibaki papo hapo.
Acha tuone kama wataongeza mwezi huu. Ruto to critics, Vision 2060 talks are not about 2027 politics. Well, it just happens by coincidence that imekuja exactly 1 year to elections. Yeah. It's very hard not to believe that it's about 2027 politics, but then again, the president has said this, we have no reason to doubt him. Other quick highlights on the front page, UHC workers set for permanent pensionable jobs in 8.6 billion plan. And Ketraco boss Kibias denies claims of interference in recruitment of new CEO. Tuone huku ndani kama kuna mambo ingine tofauti kutokana na wale wengine. Nothing much. I'm not seeing anything very different. Okay. UDA backs gender rule bill, but ODM uncertain. Parties to ensure not more than 2/3 of candidates are of the same gender. How will they do it as a party? Are they going to nominate more candidates to ensure that there's that gender parity, or at least a fulfillment of the requirement of the Constitution? Election Laws Amendment Bill of 2026, I think it's the same story. They're just looking at different angles of that amendment bill. Why are all these things coming 1 year to the next election? Back page, Akonor unfazed. Matters football, Gor Mahia coach calm ahead of tricky Al Hilal test in Kagame Cup semi-final. Wamefika semi-final, congratulations to them. And Starlet seeking to end WAFCON tour on a high. After losing to Morocco 4-0 and Senegal 1-0. Now they're going to meet Algeria. And that's the end for them. That's the stuff. Fresh, independent, different. You can grab yourself a copy of this paper for only 60 bob in Kenya.
All right, very quickly, business daily dominance of Big Five. NSE stocks cut to 62%, and this includes Safaricom, Equity Group, KCB, EBL, and Cooperative Bank, which now account for 62% of the 3.9 trillion shillings investor wealth at the NSE. That is down from 66% at the beginning of this year. On the ticker, KRA now bets on blockchain to cut cargo delays. Kenya retail investors buy 836 million shillings KCB shares, and CBK eyes 150 billion shillings from reopened infrastructure bonds. That's the Business Daily this morning. All
right. From the Business Daily, let's cross over and see what we have from our neighbors. At least for the first time in weeks, now Uganda is back. We have all the papers from Uganda.
They were back on Friday?
No, at least now we have all.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do have the New Vision there. NSSF to evict tycoon from Temangalo land. You know, the whole of last week, New Vision were very late in releasing their paper. Now that the Daily Monitor is back, now they are releasing their paper early enough also. Compero Safi. An interesting story on the front page of the New Vision in Uganda is about Imbalu, 80,000 boys to be circumcised. This is more or less what is happening in areas around Bukusuland in Kenya as well, where the month of August, after students close the school, it is about circumcision. So something similar happening in Uganda. But local council elections still big, given in the front page of the Daily Monitor. LC1 chiefs for life, that's a big story there. Let's go to Tanzania. How patient farmers grow towering profits from trees. That's the front page of the Citizen. Nasema ukipanda miti unaweza vuna. Kuna pesa pale kwa miti. Panda miti. And why tourists are spending more in Tanzania, as well as Gen Zs, Africa's Gen Z and type of democracy it wants. Talking about the young Africans. It is a similar story there on the front page of Mwananchi, kule Bongo. Habari ya Gen Z, demokrasia wanayoitaka kizazi cha Gen Z. Nani kizazi cha Gen Z? Gazeti la Mwananchi, Afrika nzima, sio Tanzania tu. Ni habari moja wapo ambazo zimepewa kipaumbele kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Mwananchi. Lakini habari kuu pale, matumizi binafsi, kimbilio la mikopo. Wanasema sababu 3 za tajwa kuwasukuma wakopaji kwenda kukopa kwenye taasisi za fedha. Tunaangazia gazeti la Mwananchi. Wataalamu wa uchumi wanena haya. More and more people are borrowing for just spending and survival. Day-to-day spending. Habari hiyo si tofauti sana na mambo yanayotendeka hapa nchini Kenya. So magazeti ya Tanzania na Uganda tushayaangalia. Sasa turejee nyumbani tuangalie Karakacha.